What's up, guys? Kurt Hughes here with Ignite Baseball. Taking a look at Clint Frazier here today. Had one heck of a day yesterday. He was like 3 for 4, had a home run, a triple, and a single. And the home run was a walk-off. So pretty big day for the young Yankee. Just going to kind of take a look at his swing. Got 2 of his swings lined up from yesterday, and then one when he was in the minors. So we'll kind of take a look at all this here. So you'll see he gets into his lift pretty early, which is a really, really awesome starting move here. You'll see he kind of turns his butt to show his back pocket to the pitcher as he lifts, which allows him to kind of control his landing timing really, really well. You'll see that he's kind of in a squatted position here, like with his shoulders, with his back right here, which is kind of a similar position that you'd be in if you're like squatting. That's really, really good if you're trying to control your load so you can land your foot at the right time. Doing awesome stuff there. And then you'll see that once he gets started, that the position of his back and the position of the spine really stays. But you can see that he comes much straighter from his shoulder down to his knee. It's not perfectly straight, but it's pretty close. And what that basically means is that he's taking the flexion that's in his back hip and straightening it as fast as he can against a front side that's holding his head in place. Hugely important. Couple other guys that do this really well: Paul Goldschmidt, Barry Bonds, Ted Williams. If you're interested in looking at videos of them, definitely encourage it. But he does a great job of that. You'll see that his back foot kind of comes up and forward, kind of pops behind him, does that kind of scissor thing that Altuve does, and that also that Chris Bryant tends to do sometimes. I think honestly that's just a product of blocking a little bit. You'll see that if you zoom in, it kind of gets a little blurry as we zoom in, so sorry about that. But if you zoom in, you'll see that his toe is pretty closed and his knee is also pointing in this direction. So the reason that his foot slides back behind him is because his back hip kind of has to stop because of the way that his front leg is blocking his turn. Your knee really wants to turn or to bend up and down, not side to side. So when you land closed like this, it puts a lot of stress just biomechanically on the outside of your knee and the outside of your foot and really the outside of your hip, which isn't great for your body, which is one of the reasons I teach hitters to land a little bit more open than he's landing here. But other than that, there's a lot of awesome things in the swing. I mean, he's having a lot of success in his early career for a reason, and definitely excited that he's on the Yankees because I am a Yankees fan. Sorry if you're from New England, it is what it is. So this is the triple that he hit. You'll see where this ends up going. He hits it pretty far, just off the base of the wall here in left field. The Yankee announcer actually thought it was a home run. I'm going to kind of fast forward to his walk-off home run. This is what we're looking at here. Really similar stuff. You'll see he kind of shows that back pocket, which allows him to kind of control that. He does a little barrel tip to get his barrel moving to get himself started. And then he comes right through the ball, brings his shoulder right through the ball. You'll see that he turns his shoulder pretty far. I would prefer him, if I were like just grading his movement overall, I would prefer him to be able to turn his shoulder further, but that's really a product of what his back hip is doing, which you're going to see in just a second when we see a side view of him. I'll be able to explain that a little bit better. It's kind of hard from this angle, so I'm going to kind of fast forward to that. But you can see this ball goes really far as well. And the other thing that's cool is that if you look at this view, I know it is a little bit blurry once again. I apologize for that. The video didn't render exactly the way I want it to, but you can kind of see how long his bat is in between the ball and the catcher's glove. It really snaps right in front there. And then if you think about it, right, if he'd swung even a little bit earlier, he still would have been able to hit this ball hard, although it would have been a little off the end. This being able to get your bat in between the ball and the catcher's glove is hugely important, and it allows time for you to mess up. So if you swing early, you can crush it. You swing late, you can crush it. A lot of awesome things going on with that. So I'm going to kind of go to that side view. I know it's a home run. It's the walk-off, which is cool too. But so here's kind of a little bit of a side view of it, but it's only just shows the hit, which I think is, I guess that's okay. But so I'll fast forward to the minor league one that I got right here. So you'll see the hit. He hits this one a long way as well. He doesn't even turn his hips as far on this one, which I don't love, but we'll kind of take a look at the side view, rounds the bases. I think this is my favorite part of the video. I'm pretty sure this is Judge. And, Frazier is 6'1", 190 pounds, and, he's not a small human being. He's not super big, but he's not small either. And, look at as he gets closer to Judge. He just looks like a little kid. That's crazy. He's so big. He's not even up to his shoulder. All right, cool. I just had to geek out about that a little bit. That was pretty funny. But here's the side view. Very similar step to what he was doing in the Yankee game, not the minor league game. But a lot of good stuff here. You can see all the wrinkles in his shirt right here, right across his midsection. That tells us that he's opening his hips before he's opening his shoulders, which is really important. He does a great job with turning his barrel into the path of the ball. The only thing that I would say that I don't like about his swing, and I kind of addressed this a little bit in the prior video looking at it from the front, but like I said, it's kind of hard to talk about from the front because you can't see it, is his hip doesn't really go that far, his back hip. So when we look at where his belly button's pointing when his swing is done, it's kind of like maybe at the second baseman when he's done. I would rather have it at the shortstop. The further that you can turn, the faster you can swing, like when your bat's in the zone, because your body doesn't have to stop your barrel. Because he has to stop his barrel right here, he has to slow down right in here, which obviously he's going fast enough to still hit it out, so it's not really a situation where he's doing anything wrong per se, because you only have to hit it a certain distance. But he does work out a lot. So if you want to be able to swing like this, like he is, and hit the ball over the fence, you got to be either pretty big or really, really explosive, and he is. So he's got that going for him for sure. But let me kind of address that shoulder turn thing. So you'll notice when his shoulders finish, they're kind of pointed at us. I would prefer them pointing, actually up a little bit higher than that. I'd prefer them pointing over the center fielder's head when he's done his swing. And the reason that he's not able to do that is because he can't turn as far because his hips don't go as far. Because his hips stop here. Sorry, a lot of lines, getting a little busy here. If his hips stop here, his shoulders have to stop here because he can't really turn them any further, just because of the way that you stretch across your abs and through your hip flexor here in the back. So if he pulled his hip further, so his back hip was in front of his front hip, and his hips were like this, so his front hip, sorry, his back hip would be here, and his front hip would be here, he'd be able to get his shoulders all the way turned, which would really just give him more space to turn, which would mean he could go faster in his turn. And that's not something that he really needs. It's not like swing advice that would be like, hey, Clint, this is something you should do differently. But if you're a 15-year-old kid and you're not consistently driving the ball over the fence, this is something that you should probably work on, completing your turn, so that way you can get the ball over the fence. If you can already get the ball over the fence, then there's really not a whole lot that you should listen to with regard to how to move your body better in order to hit it further. If you have the power already, it's really just about adjustability. So Clint has the power, so there's really no need for him to listen to that type of information. What I would say is that if he landed a little bit more open and a little softer onto his front side, I think he'd have a little bit better chance with off speed. So that would be like the real type of swing advice that I would give Clint. But with regard to like power generation, he does a lot of things awesome. So there isn't really much to say. But feel free to check out my website, ignitebaseball.org. There's a link in the description. Do in-person and online lessons, as well as consulting for travel teams. So if you like what I'm saying, and you think you want to be able to teach your hitters something like this, or your son or daughter something like this, feel free to give me a shout. I'd love to talk to you more.